Hey everyone, looks like it's time for another Let's Draw. This Let's Draw is going to be a little bit different. I know I'm drawing one of my things, but this Let's Draw is how I design things, and how freaking sideways it seems to be. I may be joined off and on by Jealousy, aka my cat Sven, because apparently he feels he needs attention. It's a cat. What do you do? He's a cutie. You can't tell the cat no, because cat will just look at you and go, but cat. And you're looking like, thanks, cat, but cat. But human? And of course we've got the usual I've knocked something down noises. The usual chaos, mayhem, disorder. As usual, our lovely chat monitor will be my spouse, Corvid Kai Gaming, or Kai for short. Just use Kai. You're good. As usual, they will be conveying what's said in chat to me so I can talk to you, because goodness knows my vision is not a great place. Now, before I get to work, partly while I'm messing around, but before I get to work, I do want to say, yeah, I sketched something out before so that I don't drag this stream all the way until 10, because then I think I might get disowned or something by my spouse. I don't know, and I don't want to test it. But I will be pouted at if I'm long. So I don't want to upset my spouse. Not a good idea. You just don't upset the spouse. But today, I'm not sure how to describe who I'm drawing today, because it's one of my characters. At the same token, he's one that kind of needs a little tweaking anyway. Or I may do another one that needs a little bit of tweaking. I just need to think about it. And that's actually the first step, is I do need to check the face shape I sketched out earlier and see what shape I did. I do have subtle shapes. They're not very good, but most people don't have the same face shape. I'm trying to get better at that. It does help that I do work with multiple ethnicities in my characters. I've got a lot of Chinese, actually. I've got some. I'm working on some Mongolian. I'm working on some. I've got a little bit of everything, basically. I don't want to get into anything too detailed. Right now, all I have is the posing. I can actually swap genders even now. So right now it's genderless. My usual sketching method in Clip Studio is to use the pen tool, so we can get to see the mechanical pen come back out, and use the mechanical pencil to go ahead and lay out the sketching, lay out the details, get what I need done. When I start a character, and I'm in the blue sketch phase, which is the main body, the head, the body, the posing, the armature itself, I don't always come in knowing who I'm going to draw or what I'm going to draw. I've come in going, I'm going to draw this character today, and end up in the mood to draw another character. So that is the first hazard. Other times I'll be listening to something and just be like, I want to design something with that. Or I'll be looking at something going, I have inspiration from that. In this case, I came in wanting to do some tweaks on, to use TOYHOUSE terms, a Sona or a self-insert, whatever you want to call it. His name is Sky, and I do want to mess around with his design, because he also goes by Nova. I have to tweak his design, because I have a fun story for this guy. So, he technically ended up as needing a redesign, because I ended up using the original design for a character named Satanta, who I've fleshed things out, and now Nova's got like a brother and a sister. So that is one thing I'm taking in mind. So for Satanta, they both have silver. All the kids have silver hair. It's just how things ended up. Not every child character of mine of other characters have that. Some relationships do end up with a little bit more of a equal blending. Like my character Yoli, actually, one child has black hair because he appears half Japanese or Chinese, and Akihito's an absolute darling. Then his brother Hector has a different father because his mom's polyamorous, and he actually gets more after his father, whereas their younger sibling, who's gender fluid, Elenos, actually sits and has appearances drawn from his mother, and his mother is my cinnamon roll Yoli, which is entertaining to no end. Sky, for my part, is technically... he wasn't born in the right body. He's technically wears a binder, so that's going to be fun for me to work in because he has no problems working his binder into his outfits. He's fairly calm, he's upfront about it because he has his dad's back, and that leads into one of my first things about character design with my characters is I start with the personality. When I'm sketching the base pose, I look at the pose and go, okay, who might do this pose? Who might work with this aesthetic? Who might look good in X, Y, and Z? What are their hobbies? What are their interests, etc. Sky works with a binder, but he also likes wearing kind of more funky outfits. One, Sky does indeed look a little bit like my mascot chibi that you all saw in the new thumbnail. Yay! And two, I also take a consideration, before I even consider what their aesthetic is, I also consider what their personality is. Not every character is going to be a punk, a goth, a cyberpunk, or anything like that. I have some pretty interesting characters who just go with a more raver look, or who might just plain feel more comfortable in a t-shirt and jeans. I have a lot of characters who have no fashion sense, so t-shirt and jeans it is. That's part of it, though, is it depends on the personality, and that's where you really want to start. What might inspire a personality? Well, in Sky's case, besides being the self-insert bum he is, I have been working with him as pagan, which would be interesting as a design. So he's going to have some elements from that. He's a bit more of a punk. He's like his brother Satanta. He's a goth. Sky is nowhere near his brother's muscle size, but Sky is more than definitely a giant, morbid fluff ball. Is the best description. Sky's pretty chill. He really doesn't judge anybody. He doesn't feel he should. But that's the first thing you want to consider is your personality. What is their personality? What are their likes and dislikes? And the reason I start there when I'm drawing is so that I can work out, well, if they like this, and this, how might they wear their hair? Do they dye their hair? Do they do this or that or the other? And that's where I start in terms of the design itself. So Sky, in his case, his hair is long. He doesn't like it in his face. So it's parts in the middle, and he tends to wear it behind, like his brother Satanta, he tends to tuck it behind his ear and tie it back, unlike his brother who just lets it lay straight and just kind of deals with it. Satanta has a lot more patience than his brother Sky does. Sky is fun. So in we go with the hair. And the reason you may be wondering, well, where's the clothing, is the sketch for me is literally just opposing armature. this is where I start posing and getting the hairstyle and the face shape and the eyes down. That way they might actually look better. And I have more than just this one eye style. Like, I have kind of, and this will be erased, don't worry. And not like that. That looks, I do have a little bit more of an open eye as well that I did for years. So it might look like that, and then yelling. See? I know it's quick, but I do have other eye styles. I've just been experimenting a little bit more with a little bit more of the anime realistic is the best way I'll describe it. Because there is some anime content where you look at it and it looks almost real. But it's still got that anime flair, and it kind of goes, hey, I'm going to go ahead and mess with with all the animus. So that's fun. And yeah, I like piercings. I love piercings. They make me so happy. Piercings make me happy. They're my happy place. I don't think you'd wear that one. Yeah, I do need to differentiate him a bit from his brother, Satanta, in terms of what his piercings are. Again, they're both kind of goth boys. Sky was born female, so Sky binds. Satanta kind of expected his father to not approve, but his father did, so Sky is a little more body confident in terms of presentation and things like that. I think what I'm going to, yeah. Oop. There we go. Yeah. But Sky is fun. I want to roleplay him at some point. Get his little Nordic punk butt out there, because there is still that element of Nordic flair I want to add as well. Now, another thing I do consider is, if I'm drawing them, what's the setting? What can I get away with? Like, if it's a medieval setting, I may gun for more of a tea-tunic, as opposed to, say, a t-shirt and jeans. In another setting, I may opt for more formal wear. Setting really does count, and I usually do consider that when I'm working on personality and hobbies. Although a lot of my characters end up in multiple settings, so that's a thing. That is very much a thing.
You have that's Flo.
Hello, Flo!
Saying, hello, how are you?
I'm good. How is the flow? But yay! It is a flow! Hopefully the flow does not overtax themselves. Because Flo, I know, is known for staying up over late.
Since I is good.
Okay, as long as you're taking care of yourself, I'm not gonna fuss over much. If you start getting tired, though, I am gonna stare at you funny. Luckily, in my streams, I don't have the rolled up newspaper. That would be my spouse who's moderating chat. Sort of. Mostly by keeping an eye on it.
Just sleep deprived.
Flo, don't sleep deprive yourself. I know your tricks. I am on to you.
Too busy reading HCAU stories.
Okay, I accept that. fanfic is a good reason. Reading is a good reason, even if it's fanfic.
Especially if it's fanfic.
Especially, as my spouse adds, especially if it's fanfic. I can accept that. I used to be up pretty late reading or writing fanfic, so.
Yeah, I can't deal with the newspaper again.
Oh, I didn't whack you with it now, did I? Right now I'm just inking in and Sky, and Sky is fun. Sky is my butthole.
Flo, I refuse sleep. I am a god.
You are not a god. Maybe a demigod, but not a god.
Oh my goodness.
But nah, yesterday was a really nice day. Got to watch a stream, spent some time with the spouse. That is not how the eye goes. But in case anyone shows up that doesn't know, yesterday was my date of birth. I am now a 37-year-old hack instead of a 36-year-old hack. I think I screwed up somewhere on the inking. Yeah. Yeah, screwed up on the inking somewhere. Okay, fix. There we go. But I actually ended up with an Easter llama for my birthday, a TNT mug.
Flo says I am definitely a god.
Pixar didn't happen. But yeah, I won't lie. These streams are basically you're literally watching me go as we go. So you get to watch me mess up a lot. But I'm still working out something for streams, which is basically a stream-only grab bag. I just want to work out ideas and set up the pricing. So I'm not doing it this time because my spouse mentioned they might stream tonight. They stream on Twitch under Corvid Kai Gaming, and they play video games like Minecraft and they want to play Among Us, which I'm looking forward to. They want to, huh?
I'm playing Valheim tonight.
Valheim? Oh, I've heard of that. Is it free?
No, Kai threw it at me because he wants me to play with him and Reyna. So I'm like,
I want to play Valheim. My spouse is playing Valheim tonight, and I want to play Valheim. It looks interesting. I mean, you're summoned by Odin. How can it not be interesting?
also, Flo says, I wish I could, I would love a llama, and then I wish I could live stream art. I actually need to upload them.
Well, I mean, I'm using Streamlabs like Nebby and Luna do. Because I do have that video on how to do speed painting and what they use to stream, etc., etc., etc. And Streamlabs is free. It's pretty good. The most you want to keep in mind is, oh my goodness, I did face before I finished the hair. And what you want to keep in mind with it is it might accidentally crash your computer when you end a stream. I've had that once, and that happened my first time, but after that it hasn't happened again. But it's one of those you might want to watch for. Call it a hunch. But no, my spouse plays the video games on stream. I do the art on stream. Someday they'll probably end up. Someday we'll probably end up in a Discord call together once we're no longer in the same room. Which we don't know when that's gonna change. So that's one thing to keep in mind. This is the part of the day where I look and go, I'm still working on ideas for chatter. No.
Yeah. I sometimes art on stream, but I've been so tired with all the inspiration for the things I can't draw. And then Flo's like, I normally just post art and stream games.
I mean, that's a good idea too. I just don't. I haven't streamed my video games because I have an awkward taste in gaming. In that I play things like Minecraft, turn around, and then I play things like The Sims 2 or 3 or 4. That's been what I've had lately to play. I do also have Stardew Valley. But I don't think anybody wants to watch me play video games because that's games out, swearing's out. And I am indeed trying to improve on the swearing thing. I know it bothers people, so I'm trying to do better about it. But if you ever hear me ever mention Fuddruckers, I have literally switched out some words with a restaurant.
Flo says, I play Minecraft and Sims.
Do you know all the good custom content sites? Because I know those. The free ones. Or places to get things that really shouldn't be paid because the TOS said you can't profit off what you make for this game, and I can get into a whole talk about that. A whole talk. I
Honestly, no one really watches my streams.
That is why you need a call out, babe. Everyone who doesn't get people. Why does this happen? Everyone who doesn't get people in their streams needs a shout out because they deserve people in their streams. Because company is fun. I grew up playing video games alone a lot. If I played video games alone, I think I'd be miserable. Then again, I also spent half of college playing The Sims 2 and the other half actually doing college things. I had a laptop and I would do my homework and then go to The Sims. Or forget my homework and go to The Sims.
Flo, I'm really bad at animation and animatics still, and I get very few people in my streams, but I'm trying to go about it a little more strategically now.
Actually, I'd love to learn to animate in Clip Studio. Since apparently you can do that, it's something I would like to learn. I just have not found any kind of tutorial or anything. One day, maybe I will animate something, and that will be fun. I mean, it won't be big. It'll probably just be faces, but it's something to do. Something to draw. Mind, that would be one of the long form streams. This one is supposed to be a little bit on the shorter side. I don't know how long it's going to run since I keep evidently messing up my inks. Like that. I do want it. There you go. And
Flo says, hold on, got to go and not be sleep deprived. Bye bye.
bye-bye. Sleepy flows don't need to be sleepy. They need to go bed. But yeah, right now I'm just working out the hairstyle. He does have more. His hair is a little bit more on the medium thickness side instead of really thick or really thin. That's a minor thing, but it does affect how his hair lays. So that is something I feel I should note since I'm doing the ponytail. The reason I'm doing the ponytail like this is I find it actually captures the flow of the hair better. So I haven't gone Nomura on anything. But I've probably forgotten something. When do I not forget something? There. There. And remember, folks, drink your water. Because even if I'm streaming, we all need water. Especially if you're talking. Let's see here. As for the way Sky's hair is actually laying, it's more of a stylistic thing. That's that's purely the reason. I mean, some elements with characters is stuff I just like. So you never be afraid to include elements you like into your character, because if you're drawing it for you, you're going to like it. And you want to draw something you like. Don't just draw, oh, I can draw this easily enough and make it look good, and then I can get all the arts ever. No, 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 no. While that is something to consider, that other people might like the design and might be willing to do more arts for designs they like, at the end of the day, you're the one playing with the design, so you should be the one you're pleasing, not Senator Crosby off in Arkansas. Or Senator Kennedy, as the case may be. Although I believe we've lost Ted Kennedy, the poor man. Lost a lot of senators. Old age. Old age. Not many new blood coming in either. Keep getting beaten out by the old guard. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely Sky. Okay. Sometimes I'll do a design and it won't end up looking like the character it's supposed to look like. This time it did. So that was another sideways way of getting a new character. This is supposed to look like this character. It does not look anything like this character. Apparently, today, Sky is sassy boy. Sassy. Sassy. He's a sassy man. Now this is something to keep in mind. This is just me, but it's something to keep in mind, might help out other folks, is if I'm new to a fashion, and I'm not doing it right now because I have an idea for Sky, but if someone has a fashion and I'm not familiar with it, I will look it up, or if it's a fashion and I want to see if there's certain kinds of aesthetics available, or I just need a refresher, don't be afraid of Google. Google is your Pinterest. I know we have Pinterest, but you also have Google. I like Google. It is a good Google. Now, if they'd stop ignoring the original motto of don't be evil. That's out for pity's sake. There we go. Now, as for why this binder goes so high up his neck, because I want it to. Let's see. Okay. Now, it does help to have references for even small accoutrement if you're not familiar with it. I will look literally up everything. I will look up accoutrement. That does not look good at all. I will look up accoutrement. I will look up clothes. I will look up anything. Some of it is just so I have an idea of the vibe when I do the design. and other times it's because I need to know what the element should look like. So, more than just animals, it's a good idea to just use references from the internet for, which I'm not doing for this thing like I should, but right now I'm not being very smart. I won't lie. Partly because I don't want to drag us out till 10 my time. I don't think anyone would appreciate it. My wife would be very unhappy with me. And as you can guess, my spouse is the one that wears the pants. This is not a bad thing. I just happily defer the pants to her. Besides, the last time I wore them, I got accused of leaving happy trails. Don't like that. Let's see here. But, yeah. In this case, the reason I'm going with the designs is, in this instance, I have seen Mjolnirs before, and they usually have all kinds of swirl and pretty, and in this instance, I'm just looking at, okay, how can I make it look decent? I'm going insane, but I'm doing it. Mine, for me, insanity is a short trip. This is going to be so much fun to shade later. Like getting a tooth pulled. Or surgery. Mostly because this thing's going to be such tiny detail, it's going to be a nightmare. I may include garnets. Yeah, I think I'll include garnets when I do. And yes, I am strange, I am crazy. I can get that tiny when I need to with that big of a brush. We are going to have so much fun doing tiny, tiny details. I do not normally do this. I don't know why I'm doing it now. Insanity? I think yes. I'm gonna change that up. I'm just gonna go for one of those black chords, because another sideways I designed. Can I draw it myself? If yes, carry on. If no, run away. I am very, very sensitive to what I can and can't draw. If I feel like something doesn't look right, I do get upset and stressed out. So if I ever start sounding freaking out, I probably screwed something up again. Story of my life. There we go. Let's see, in this case, what have I seen with... What I'm thinking of is setting right now. Just because I have the personality and hobbies down doesn't mean I necessarily know how he dresses. Some goths go Victorian all out. Some goths are happy with just a darker color palette, which is actually what I do. I wear a darker color palette. Some goths look more like punks, drink your water. And that's what I'm leaning toward. Probably boots. Let's see. Now, just because he's into Norse paganism doesn't mean he's a bad person. This guy's actually pretty cool. Like, his brother will be that guy that walks up and pretends to be your boyfriend at the bar just to get the creeps away. Sky is more or less that friend that sits there and makes them too uncomfortable to approach in the first place, simply because he's mastered the stare of death. And what I mean by stare of death is, if you approach him and he does not want to deal with you, he has this glare that makes his normal sweet, friendly, happy face end up looking like he's going to tear you a new one. And he's beautiful. And he's also grumpy. So a lot of people face the risk of his, many people will face the risk of, Sky's glare. But will they face the risk of his wrath? No, because most people who make him wrath know when to back off. I don't always go for same letter names in a family. Satanta and Sky kind of ended up as a convenience because what I did was look up agender names. And he ended up with the name Sky. Fun part, though, is Sky is not his birth name. Sky is the name he chose when he got older. The positive about that being able to choose is his father helped him. He actually has a really supportive dad who the whole family thought he'd find out and go, I don't have a daughter. And he ended up actually going, oh, I have 2 sons, cool. This is my favorite child, I don't care. As long as they are happy, healthy, and productive. By productive, though, the man generally means not getting into anything untoward. Yeah, Satanta likes to show off a little skin as kind of a taunt is the best way I'll put it. He has virtually no issue sitting there looking at you like, I will eat you alive. Unfortunately, his brother Satanta does not approve. They do have a little sister named Ray. She's the only actual girl in the family. She's also the fluffiest. Ray is pretty gentle. Sky is probably the fightiest. Satanta's fighty, but only if you hurt somebody. Sky will fight you just because you looked at him wrong. He's very self-conscious about what other people do when they look at him. Now, what I'm doing with his outfit is what I do when I feel like doing clothing myself. I'm actually coming up with the outfit myself. So these aren't always clothes that you might find in real life because I've probably mixed some cuts that might normally not be sold. But I just enjoy doing outfit design. And I enjoy doing some outfit designs that don't necessarily go mainstream. Which, in this case, works out. Sky's fashion sense is not mainstream. He is not going to look mainstream. He's going to look different. He's going to look more like he can probably throw down. He's going to look a little bit more intimidating, is the best way to put it. His brother is the marshmallow fluff. I say this because I know there's going to be people watching the VOD. Always watch the VODs. But yeah, as usual, in case anyone's wondering, the VOD will be uploaded. It's auto done, so it's nice and easy for everyone in the house. So if you enjoy it, I'm glad. Feel free to watch it. I mean, I don't mind being a podcast for people who want to do something while they're listening to my inane ramblings. If I'm soothing, A+. Will I do ASMR? No! You don't want that. Because when I try to make a nice noise with my mouth, it'll end up sounding like I'm chewing my cud. You don't want that. I am not good at that. I am not good at calming, soothing, comforting. Sorry, not good for that. I am, however, good for dry commentary and sadly very, very snarky observations of the world. I haven't made any lately purely because I'm trying to not fail at this. Ah, boy. That is not what it should look like. No, I don't have anything much to talk about, mostly because my life is unfortunately highly dull when it's not a holiday or a birthday around here. That's because I get up, I get dressed, well, I get up, I have breakfast, I have my coffee, and I exist in the world. Unfortunately, I'm about as entertaining to watch during the day as a slug is to watch in the rain. Unless it's salt. Unless it's salty, briny rain. I wonder if that's something that exists. That would be interesting. That would be fun for a future video, is how to pretend that you have evolution in your world. I'm nowhere near ready to discuss world building tips, though. Nobody wants to know my world building tips, even if I did come up with the crazy intelligent computer, and everybody's just like, how did you... You did not know that, computer. You did not. That computer was basically a little evil bugger, and he just liked to make me his accomplice. I believe it was a Packard Bell M400 or so. That is what I had. It was my first computer, and before anyone stares at me and goes, why are you talking about a computer? I've turned my first computer ever owned into a character because the only reason I got rid of that computer is because it started dying. We had compressed the hard drive twice, and when you compress the data on a hard drive, it actually damages the lifespan of the hard disk. And I had this computer from age 13 to around age 21. We put 98 on it, realized Windows 98 was literally a death wish for the computer, put Windows 95 back on. Then, when we finished doing that, the computer started having unable to write to drive C issues, which is basically the computer saying, my hard disk is dying. This after it killed a monitor, a keyboard, 3 mice, 2 CD drives, and a power supply. Juno was a very productive computer. I think he might have killed more than one keyboard, though. He was a very productive murder machine. I'd like to get another one, preferably one with a better attitude. But Juno is actually an excellent case of I had to design something with no basis. Juno's outfit is actually inspired by the colors of his type of Packard Bell. So in his case, it's a lot of beige box and gray accent. Well, when I got into his eyes and all that, I had to remember, okay, what were the LED colors? So his eyes are actually more LED colored. And I haven't worked out if they glow or what else, or if it's just an accent, because, hey, I like this character. He does have a band of color bars on the collar of his top. Those are actually the Windows colors, and those have an in-universe function. What it does is it identifies him as a Windows-based cyborg creature. What the setting itself is, since people are probably wondering, hey, what was with that dude you linked last time when you took a break? The thing with that was, he comes from a setting where the Marianas web has become sentient enough to become curious about humans. And part of their interaction with humans is reading stories and memories of humans with computers, and it builds androids based on those memories. Juno, which was what I named my Packard Bell, is actually one of the first. He's situated in such a way that his collar represents his operating system, which in turn conveys information. So anyone who looking at him will go, "Oh, you were based on a Windows-oriented machine. Therefore, you are a Windows Android." There's actually Androids for Linux, there's Androids for Android, there's Androids. You can technically get away with Androids for anything in this setting. And there's multiple versions, because you've got the Windows, you've got the Apple OS, you've got Linux, you've got Android, you've got Palm OS, which is probably more or less like a chibi. If you look at the laptops in Chobits, it might be like that. I don't know. I haven't thought into the accessories. But Juno was a good example of how I worked out some things while I was doing his design. He's very much a Windows powerhouse. He's from the Windows 95 era. The computer itself was a P1, was a Pentium 1 with MMX technology native to the machine. So, in lore, Juno more or less is one of the bosses, if only because he's a bossy britches, and if you don't listen, he starts getting a little nasty. I am still working on the setting. I am also working on another setting that's set in a dream world. Envision is literally where Sense goes to die. And there we go. Chat is currently unsupervised. Now is the time to start spewing all the profanity you can think of. Profanity, all the dorkitude. Throw the rave. My spouse is rolling their eyes at me as they pop off to do something. I still say, have some fun with it. Have some fun. Unfortunately, it does mean I'm not going to know if somebody shows up during this time frame. If you show, you show. If you don't, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I missed you. Wait, I'm sorry if I missed you if you show. I am not so... Oh, my brain is now gone to... What is brain function? Can you eat it? Is it a tasty snack? Say it with me now. I've probably forgotten something. And I did. I forgot to ink the chest in here. There we go. Yes, I'm raspberrying my computer mic. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think. Thinking hurts. Not much, but when you don't have a brain. Okay. Inks are done. Color. I actually do have the color combo for Sky's eyes, skin tone, and hair. 1 second. Drink your water. His outfit, I have rough ideas for part of it. Sky tends to look a little bit better with more darks anyway. And you may have noticed in the bar of canvases on my computer, I have canvases out. I actually came in planning on one thing, and I ended up doing Sky. So, that was a thing. An attempt was made. But I may still do some tweaks with him. He really needs to be tweaked so he's a little bit different from his brother, because he almost looks like Satanta's twin right now. They're not twins. There's actually there's about 1 year to 2 years between them. The siblings themselves are not very far apart, but the boys do kind of dote on their sister Ray. There we go. Here's another thing that I don't feel people notice over much, but it is something I try to keep in mind, and that is, how often does my character go outside? Do they look at the sun and go, "What are you, you cardinal sin against man?" Or do they look and go, "Best friend"? I'm not sure. And 1 second. Things have decided they want to block my vision. Not... Oh, for pity's sake. Kaspersky, of course, is being rude. Come on, Kaspersky. There we go. Okay. Where is the... There it is. Hello. Oh, that's wrong. That'll work. Yeah. One thing to consider is how much the character goes in the sun. The other is undertones of their skin. Satanta is very cool colored, where Sky is not. Sky actually has more warm tones like his mom. And I know a lot of people are like, but it's stylized. You don't need to consider the parents' build or their lifestyle or their clothing. You don't need to consider their build. You don't need to consider how they stand, how they position themselves. Yeah, you do. A lot of people might argue, but it's anime. Most anime is just this. But it doesn't need to be. Modern anime is starting to expand its horizons. Some artists will actually draw different body types. I try to involve body type. I have a character that's bustier than, it's, trying to think of who she might be busty as. She makes Lena Inverse cry.
Most people make Lena Inverse cry.
Shit, point. Most people make Lena Inverse cry. She's well endowed. She's the distraction in her group, basically. She's got the assets to make a guy go, ooh. She got the goods, is the best way to put it. She got the goods, and she ain't afraid to show them off. Which is actually entertaining, because she also just does not care what she wears. She will wear something more often if it has sentimental value, rather than something that, because it's pretty. It's pretty. Which I understand why people might want to wear something because it's pretty. But, I have a hard time with that mentality. So when it comes to my characters, they probably bought it because it's comfy. It's comfy, they like the way it looks. They wear it more often than something else is because they got some kind of reason to be wearing it more. Some sentimental, some because it's their favorite outfit, that kind of thing. It's not just a delicate fairy princess because... Okay, wait. No, I've done that to one character in a delicate fairy princess outfit, and if she doesn't keep her delicate fairy princess outfit, heads will roll. And that would be Sailor Doob in Moonshop, who is my ephemeral sparkle baby, and anyone who tries to tell me she shouldn't be an ephemeral sparkle baby because she's also a little bit on the muscular side. Step 1, I have a fist. Step 2, you have teeth. Step 3, let's meet. I love my sparkle baby. I love making friends, but I also love my sparkle baby. She makes me happy because she loves everybody. Everybody. My spouse can confirm she is a sparkle child who will cuddle anything. I don't want to imagine Yoli with a llama. Hun, Yoli with a llama. Would the world survive the cute?
Yes. You know what the world wouldn't survive the cute ever with?
What?
An alpaca.
Oh no! Yoli and an alpaca would destroy the world with cutes. It is so good that she is not attracted to cutesy little boys. Although, I don't think she would say no to them. She's pretty sweet. Oh god. Oh boy, Yoli with a moe boy. Yoli can destroy the world with how adorable she is. Am I wrong?
No.
But I would rather have a character that is a threat to world safety because she's cute than because I have to keep looking up horrible things on the internet that make the NSA cry. I don't want to make the NSA cry. And that is actually a piece of advice for design work. If you're making the NSA cry, maybe you shouldn't do it. Just a bit of advice. I know it's interesting. Headcanon some craziness. Headcanon some world logistics. Don't make the NSA cry. I have yet to make the NSA cry, so I have yet to have any problems with Google. We all know the NSA likes to make sure everyone's doing their job happy and free. Let's see. And you know what? I would rather end up with them making sure I'm doing things right than half the things that could be going on. Because trust me, the world right now is a crazy place. But I have very weird views, so. But yeah, if you have a character that's gonna make the NSA cry, maybe books might be safer. Call it a hunch. Let's see. Not my best day for drawing, but in case anyone's wondering, it's mostly because I am a little tired. We have a housemate moving in, so I got kind of woken up early today. But let's see here. Yeah, if your character's gonna make the NSA cry, don't do it. If it's gonna make anyone in authority cry, don't do it, because you don't want the sidelong looks. On the other hand, if it's something you can learn through history, go for it. You want to learn about the 60s? Go for it. If you want to learn about the 50s, go for it. Always do your research, but also make sure your research isn't going to get you in trouble. And I know I shouldn't need to say that. I know everyone who watches this is a good being who does exactly what they're supposed to do in any situation. But unfortunately, my little ones, you're the smart ones. But there's stupid people out there who might watch, and I want to make sure they don't do something stupid. 'Cause that's just not responsible streaming. So, I have characters where I have done research into some different eras of fashion. Not a lot yet. That's purely because I am not a huge... Oh, for pity's sake. I'm being a neat freak. But as for certain huge areas, like some clothing fashions are pretty much time transcending. Like a nice comfy pair of jeans and a shirt, that's actually fairly transcending from about the 50s, when we started getting characters like James Dean. Oh, poor James Dean. He had to own the possessed car. That car I will not name because the language is no. But let's just say it's a little child born out of wedlock, and it was a little child born out of wedlock its entire existence until people stopped using it. Lesson learned. Don't mess with things bigger than your head. In terms of things smaller than your head, though, okay, I gotta admit with jewelry, I actually kinda prefer silver jewelry usually. You will very rarely see me make gold jewelry unless it will actually look good with the character. And gold is one of those colors that does not look good to me too often. I can work with it if it works with the design or the character, but I usually for my warm jewelry actually lean towards coppers. Copper is very used. It's a very nice metal, actually. It's not used often, but it does make for a very nice metal, especially if you're working with alternative piercings or homemade jewelry, because it's going to be easier to work with a softer metal than a hard metal, and it's easier to get a hold of copper than it is to get a hold of, say, gold. Drink your water. So that is something I do recommend is copper, iron. They do have minor textural differences from silver or gold, in that there's textural differences, there's hue differences, there's shading differences. Like, if you're going for iron, you want to go for a lot of grays and dark black and kind of black brush, things like that, because iron does not gloss very well. Copper kind of gets glossy. Iron is a lot less likely to go glossy. And in case anyone's wondering, I'm looking to lock the layer. And I am just spacing. But you want to consider the metal itself. Like,
You have a Kabuki AVX saying heyo.
hello! I do not know what to call you. Pookie? Because if I go with Pookie, there's going to be some Garfield. Some what?
Buki.
Vookie.
Also, they say, why are you talking about metal?
Jewelry. Jewelry on a character. What kind of metals look good on them? Not all jewelry is made with silver or gold. You've got coppers, you've got iron. I actually own an iron pendant. When you work with coloring metal, you want to keep in mind the shading tones. That's what I've been talking about. And it looks like it's not going to let me lock the layer. Why won't you let me lock the layer? Oh, this is not good. I'm having...
Might be Bucky? I think it might be Bucky. Sorry.
Oh, I need to... Vucky?
Yeah, I think so.
I apologize if I mispronounce your name. My spouse is the one that keeps an eye on chat to tell me what I need to pay attention to. So I do have a bit of a delay. And I don't have the spelling right in front of me. So I am so sorry, sweetie. I am sorry. All of my palettes, per usual, it's the usual palettes. You can find them on DeviantArt if you do a color palette search. What I'm using for skin tone right now is actually by a Riri something. I don't remember the full name. I'm right now just going through the full design process of a character that I kind of need to redesign anyway. And going over how I go through the design process. Since it's design or redesign, I do use similar practices. Since when I redesign, sometimes the character has some changes that's necessitating the redesign. So for example, with Sky, I've fleshed out his backstory. I've kind of accidentally given his original design to his older brother. So it gives me time to do a little more work. But I also need to consider where he's different from his brother. There's a lot that goes into character design, and I do it sideways. A lot of people will look and go, okay, what's this, and this? And how does this, and this reflect on my character? Which is a good method. The reason I say I go sideways is because the good method doesn't necessarily work for me, because I'll always go, but they also like this, and this is something they wear. So I guess the best way to say I do it is I try to get inside the head of my character when I'm doing the design process. So in this case, I'm fairly sure Sky made his shirt by tearing the neck hole. Sky's a special child. I won't lie. He's special. And I want to roleplay him really bad. No. Next step, shade the lips. Next step, shade the lips. Shade the lips. Ah! At some time, I may do a tutorial on loosely how I do art. I don't know. My method is not what's usually taught. There's elements of it in there, but there's some areas that I found I get better results, but it may not necessarily work for everyone else. That's why I always say, this is how I do it, your results may vary. Always try something new. Try a new tutorial. Try looking out in the world and saying, hey, this looks interesting. How do I make this work with my drawing style? More of an art tip than a design tip, but
They're like, I really wish I knew what you were talking about. And I was like, what is it that confuses you?
my spouse is also the translator. I speak English, but I don't speak people. Don't feel bad. I'm the one that doesn't know how to say something in terms that other people understand all the time. And sometimes people say things I don't understand. We are all different, and we are all wonderful in our own special ways. Even if that just means I'm special. And special. And by special, I mean I know that I'm messed up. I'm also mostly trying to avoid dead air. That's why sometimes I'll go off on a tangent. Since in broadcasting, fun fact, in radio and broadcasting, the reason the DJs are always talking, if there's not music playing or a commercial playing, is because dead air is bad air. So I don't like giving people dead air, but I will do it sometimes, and it drives me nuts. I also grew up in the American Southwest, and the area I grew up in was about 20 years behind everybody else, I tell you. They are confused, and I am not helping, and I am so sorry. But yeah, fun fact. Dead air is not my idea of a good time for anyone. I know dead air is gonna happen. I don't edit the VODs after I finish the stream and they go live. So everything's gonna be raw, uncut, 100%. Oh, good golly, what has this woman done? Or in this case, this man. I mean, if you're confused, you don't know what somebody's doing or how someone speaks.
Yeah.
I understand if people need to pop out. We're all good. It's all good. I don't want to make this a stressful channel. If anyone's wondering, I don't want it to be stressful. I don't look for it to be, I know the best. Only I can save the world. No. I don't want that weight. Save it for Captain America or something. No. This is a low stress channel. If you're worried or something's upsetting you, then I am so sorry. I do try to avoid politics since that is toxic. Not to mention, I don't feel politics really has a place in an art stream. I do, however, ramble about whatever. So, if nothing else, it's nice for someone to listen and maybe draw on something of their own. That's something I always encourage. If you're listening to me and you don't feel like going into the chat, go on and have some fun with the art program of your choice. Treat me like a podcast. I don't care. It's a good way to have some fun. You're just listening to a friend prattle at you endlessly while you're trying to get things done. Think of it like that. And apparently this time I'm going for slightly realistic shading. Slightly. It mostly means I'm looking at muscle tone, body shape, muscle shape, all the shape. Oh. For pity's sake, what happened? Oh. But yeah, honestly, I'm pretty sure we're still finding the niche with this channel where people want to go with how they listen to me, because I try to lean late afternoon in the United States, Mountain Standard, because more people are going to be home. People are going to want something to do. What are people going to want to do? They're going to want to maybe watch something calm, something relaxing. I am not the calmest person, but I'm happy to keep people company. I'm happy to chat. I'm happy to draw. Some streams, again, are going to be art games, giveaways, mostly art giveaways. Other streams are going to be things like, I guess, like this. I draw something and I explain what I'm thinking behind the scenes to kind of give an idea of how someone else does things. Character design, or how to draw, that kind of thing. I mean, not like I've been saying, not everybody does things the same way. You might have a different way. If you do share. I would actually like to learn more ways to do things. The reasoning behind that is because I want to learn more so I can experiment more. The more you experiment, the better you get, because you can pick up some new techniques that maybe it doesn't work like this for this design, but it could work out fairly well for another design later down the road. Like, I probably won't want to draw this exact Mjolnir pendant again, but I am exceedingly happy to sit there and draw a hammer. Maybe not do it quite so detailed. Just as an example. Everything's different. Everyone's got their own way, and it never hurts to learn something new. That's all I'm saying. That's basically what we're all looking at here with this stream. Is I'm just explaining so people can try something new. If it doesn't work for you, I apologize that it didn't work. I hope you had fun though. And if it did, glad I helped. Hope you had fun. That's what's important to me, is I want to make sure people have fun. I don't want to sit here just be some doddering, just buy some music for this channel already. 1, money. 2, I wouldn't have as much fun if I just speed painted. It's not the same. I am a very slow drawer. I don't think I could do speed painting for anyone. Same token, I do enjoy drawing with you guys. So that's what we're looking at. That's why I'm working out some art games, some ideas. That's why we've got the streaming bundle that I'm working on. I'm working on ways for you to get art from a stream. That's basically, best way to put it, cheap art done quick. What kind of cheap art done quick? Well, that depends. It's still going to be as best to my quality as possible. But it's basically cheap art done quick. You toss me something, or you ask for something, and then I will try my best to do a headshot or a chibi or something for you. It's something so we have something to do in the streams, or so that you can, commission me on the fly. Not worry about, say, a full body for... What am I offering for a full body? About $150 right now. Art is a luxury, as a reminder. Art is a luxury, and I charge luxury prices. That's the only thing you want to keep in mind with me. But I do take commissions. There's always the stream commissions, which this stream I'm not taking a commission because I promised to keep it short. Next stream I may open up the stream commissions because I want to work out something else. I want to work out a little bit more of, okay, how many types will I offer? What will be in them? I may offer, say you want to commission me, but you're okay with me streaming it. I may offer a discount for people who are willing to let me stream their art, so that I can sit and say, okay, I'm going to stream this art. This is going to entertain the masses for this stream, or for this number of streams. Since you're helping me out, I don't mind giving you a discount. Art that I do on the side that's not streamed, average pricing. I need to work out that pricing because the full bodies are going to be the types of commissions that take several streams. I want to make sure that goes out there, so I'm going to say it again. Full body art, 100% full body, non-chibi, straight up, posed by you, posed by me. That's not going to come cheap. But it's not going to be as expensive as, say, the non-streamed full bodies. I want to give people options if they show up in my stream. So sometime you may see me start a stream and go, okay, who wants a commission? Those are going to be once I've got more people actually watching these reliably. I have no delusions of grandeur. I just need to advertise, and I know I'm bad at it. I will say I am slowly working on the channel. I've actually pretty much last night and today put together a thumbnail for the streams. So you're going to start seeing that, which is nice. I like the thumbnail. It's really cute. I still need to I still need to get the banner made for the channel and all that hoopla, all that extra fancy pretty stuff that I want to get done. And that's when I'm actually looking at my spouse going, "Honey, I am bad at this. I did not 100% understand some of the stuff in my graphic design class." I have taken graphic design, in case anyone's wondering about my past. I took graphic design for a while, and that was an adventure in design. My teacher was pretty cool. I myself was okay at it. I kind of understand the principles between letter logos, like the Chick-fil-A C or the A in University of Arizona. Will you believe people paid several million for that A? Or the double arches for McDonald's. Used to be something else, but hey, you know. What I'm saying is I kind of understand the principles of that, but I am not good at it. I am not going to be able to pull off some magic sparkling supernova O or A or whatever, and I'm not going to be able to pull that off properly. I am bad. But my spouse is actually pretty good at graphic design, so I'm making big sad eyes at them. They have been very helpful, and they deserve all the views. So there's going to be some Valheim soon. Actually, there should be some Valheim tonight. If not tonight, tomorrow. They're looking at 10 p.m. tonight, so about a few hours off of this. Oh boy. Oh boy, hopefully this doesn't run till 10 p.m. This is running a little late. My spouse thinks I'm fine. I'm not sure. I just get over detailed on the skin. I don't know what I'm going to do when it comes to the rest of it. Because I've still got other colors to go, and luckily not much has been fancy. I will have fanciness. That isn't even a debate. There will be fancy on here, but I might have already drawn it. Just it takes me a while to get through things. I apologize to everyone if you're confused. am shading live. I am. I am not fast when it comes to art, I feel. And really, art is every artist has a different pace. So some artists might take 4 hours to ink. I take about 5 hours to color. Inking obviously took me about an hour. So now I do want to pop out that Flow. That's Flow with a THAT Z space Flow with a W at the end of that Flow. So FLOW, not any other spelling. They do animatics and animation. Check out their channel if you're bored with me. They also hang out with me. We all pretty much hang out with our friends over at Cosmobites. So if Debbie and Luna pop in, hi! Everybody should go check out Cosmobites. Like I always do the shout outs. I always try to make sure everybody's included. One day I'm going to end up unable to continue, so I apologize now. If you're much later in the future viewer and you're like, I wanted a call out and I'm not able to do it, I will probably stop doing it when I hit a certain number. That should be a while, thankfully. I don't know why I'm shading like this. Why not? Okay, let's get smoothing. Let's see. What has everyone been up to today? What has everyone been up to today? I know what I've been up to today.
It looks like it's just me right now.
But it is my spouse, which means VOD recording, which means... Okay, trying to think of a topic for y'all. I don't, unfortunately, come into these with topics to talk about beyond the actual art itself. Unfortunately, my topics are... If I was really going to talk about the stuff like, say, I watch regularly on YouTube... A good story for why I don't is my spouse, bless her, looks over at my screen this morning, looks at my YouTube and goes, your feed is really morbid. Yes, it is. I watch YouTube for about things like what happens when you die. I don't think I need to get into further detail, but that's the kind of person I am, is I do watch some pretty, well, let's just say more, but I'm not going to say it's bad. Because understanding things helps make them a lot more familiar. Familiarity breeds comfort. Comfort destroys anxiety. Anxiety destroys sanity. So you want to destroy anxiety before it slowly eats away at your mind like a starving cat. Or at least a cat that thinks it's starving, Sven. Okay, what else? Let's see. But yeah, I will not lie when I say I myself am actually a pretty morbid person. I try not to be dark at everybody, purely because I know my experiences in that area are not normal. They are not what most people experience. I'm that person who has had about 5 aunts and uncles die. All of my grandparents are gone. I'm only 37, people. Most people would sit and cry over each family member. I'm just going, who's going to die this year? My family, as I got older, it ended up a case where you could sit at New Year's Day and wonder who's going to the hospital on what side of the family this year at one point. And that's just not... I suppose that's not a really good way to look at things, but I made it my life's goal to not be one of the family members that's ended up in the hospital. So far, I'm winning. However, I don't doubt that that could change at any given time, considering I have a risk of certain health issues. And so far, I haven't seemed to have them, but it's something I should keep an eye out for. Like a heart murmur is something I should probably get checked for, and I don't want to have that thing go down my throat. I don't know why I can't just get an x-ray, but, you know, they want to shove things down your throat these days. Doctors. I don't fault them if it's the best way to view things, but I don't like things going down my throat. I don't like wet in my face. I am very face and head defensive is a good way to describe it. I just don't like things touching that area or going into that area. Although if I end up with where I do have to get something down my throat, that might change my view on some other things that my spouse and I have been talking about. And I am not getting a good blend on one side of the face, one side of the face, side of the face. I'm not getting the best blend on the best side of the face. And there's my DMCA. There's my DMCA going, what? No, I don't sing on key. I think. I don't know. I think so. All I know is I had the best dessert last night, and I am upset that there's only one left. My spouse was a wonderful human being and got me dessert. It got me birthday cannolis. I love cannolis. I have only had them one other time, and that was before I moved away from North Carolina. And all I constantly heard growing up was, I don't buy cannolis because they're never going to be as good as your godfather's mother's. And all I'm sitting there thinking is, but I want cannolis! Now I can have cannolis whenever I want, and they're so good. I just, And for anyone wondering about my background, let's just say I don't talk to my folks anymore, because I made an effort to remove toxic people from my life, for my mental well-being. I did not have the best childhood, and Arizona State kind of let me down. That is the best way to put it. Actually, I got let down multiple times. Am I angry? No. Not worth getting angry. But yeah, if you ever hear me talking about my family, don't be surprised if I don't sound too thrilled all the time. Because unfortunately, I was in one of those families that... yeah. That's all I want to say on it is, yeah. They're good, but not a family I do well in. My father's side isn't much better. Gold digging souls they are. And again, I don't hate them so much as just I don't have the energy for that toxicity in my life. And I am well aware that I am a grumpy old man. I have made peace with being grumpy. Let's see here. Yeah, there's the dead air again. Dead air. I am hoping my friends in Texas are okay. I haven't heard anything about Texas getting worse, but I've heard that there's been a lot of people starting to get upset down there. I just want my Texas friends, please be okay. Please be safe. Please be smart. Wear your masks. Stay away from others. Ignore the governor. That I've heard about. Shutting down. I can't judge them. Not my state. But as a reminder, Biden did make masks a mandatory thing in all federal locations. So if you go to the post office, you go to anywhere that has to do with the government, and I don't mean state, I mean the U.S. government, you need to wear a mask. Biden orders, they're in place for 100 days. So they're still going, guys, and I just want to make sure everyone is safe and cared for and protect. If you need to make a mask, make one from your t-shirts. Preferably an old t-shirt that you don't care about. Because what's going to happen is that's going to help you filter out the most ick. I just want to make sure everyone is safe, everyone protects their face, no germs. If you have to touch something, wash your hands about 20 seconds and about 50 million times like the paranoid buggers we are. I'd rather people be safe. Yeah, the shading's pretty okay. He's got a shoulder that's not shaded because it's really an area where you're not going to see a lot of color variation in shading. At least as far as my experience. I should probably do something about it anyway. I don't know. I'm going to do something about it because I am a paranoid person. I am a paranoid git. Paranormal git? Paranoid git. Oh, gosh. What else has been going on in the news? I get my news from YouTube. So, check YouTube. Always check YouTube. Always check multiple news sources. I personally don't watch Fox News. I am otherwise with anything else. If only because I'm not familiar with what direction most news outlets lean. Nor do I care. As far as I'm concerned, as long as you're reporting honestly, I'm okay with you. That is my only issue with some news sources, is I don't feel they report honestly to me, and if they're not going to be honest with me, how do I know that what they're telling me is true? Critical thinking helps with the characters. There we go. Okay, what color do I want to make the binder? I mean, binders can be black, blue, white, beige. I could technically have made it similar to his skin tone. Drink your water. Technically, making it close to his skin tone, he would probably do. He'd also probably just wear some other color. Oh, colors for him. Nah, I like him in a nice maroon, I think. A nice maroon. It is time for color mixing. I don't have a lot of tips for mixing colors when it comes to clothing. It varies, unless you have a palette set up for the character, which is probably a good idea. Not all fabric is going to be the exact same color every time. Like, some stuff, you washed it, now it's messed up, and faded, and gross, and horrible. Other times, you washed it, now it's dark, cold, wet, clammy, etc. Yeah, that does not look good. Yeah. Oh, that's the problem. You're on the red side, not on the purple side. As a reminder, magenta technically does not exist. It's one of those that our brain makes to map in different colors. Plus, yeah, there we go. We actually see a lot more colors than we have names for. But interesting fact I've learned, and it's actually useful in colors and in coloring. If you have words for more than one shade of a color, you're going to see those shades. Like, there's multiple shades of pink, like baby pink, pink, neon pink. You're going to have coral. You're going to have cherry blossom pink. You're going to have a warm pink, a cold pink. The more words you have for it, the more you actually can see. And in a way, you see it even if you don't have the word for it. But say you don't have a word for the color chartreuse. You're going to look at it and go, what? What color? No, it's this color. I don't remember what chartreuse is off the top of my head, unfortunately. I know it exists. I know taupe exists. I could always Google it. Which I may have to do. Rely on Google. Google. Okay. Oh, we are going into the Google zone. Where's my phone? Yes, I use a phone. Yes, you're going to hear me talk to it. No, you're not going to see it because I'm not turning on webcam. Let's see. What is chartreuse?
According to Wikipedia, chartreuse is a French liqueur available in green and yellow versions that differ in taste and alcohol content.
That is not what I asked. Congratulations! Google doesn't know any better than Siri probably does. I know so many color names and I don't have good associations with them. Because I don't have them associated to anything. That is a problem. Yes, that is an art problem, and yes, it is something that I should work at. French freaking booze. My goodness. Now my Google's going to think that I'm a lush. Okay, I mean, I like alcohol, but yeah, this looks like more, almost a wine. Almost a wine Merlot. Almost. Almost, but not quite. Besides, almost only counts on horseshoes, hand grenades, and thermonuclear warfare, and we all know it. Yes, even you, Timmy, in the back. I don't. Timmy! Okay. Congratulations, Timmy, you have officially made it into a video. Oh, that's very nice, thank you. Yeah, okay. Go back to your homework, Timmy. Let's Timmy. Anyway, colors. This is almost a wine red. Almost. This is basically what people call wine red. Close to it, anyway. Thing is, with a wine, the red is actually more of a red shade and less of a purple. Depending on the type of red wine it is. Wine has so many colors, you really can't name a color wine red. I'm sorry. I know I've ruined people's hopes and dreams, but you really shouldn't. You really ought to pay attention to what color the wine is. And that is something that most people probably don't consider. That you might want to consider what color something is. Look it up. Like, this is the shade of purple I wanted to use for Sky's binder. Reason being is he does like to wear these dark, sort of purpley tones with his binder when he knows someone's going to see it. Partly because it's a nice color to him. He feels fancy, fun and fancy free, and that color's in the binder. He doesn't have an exposed midriff in this image, but he does tend to expose his midriff. There are binders that basically just cover the chest itself. Are you okay over there?
Yep, I'm fine.
Having fun rocking the chat room?
I mean, it's still just me.
It's also... I mean, we are streaming on a weekday. It's a weekday. Most streamers aim for weekends. I am not popular enough for weekdays, but I'll do it anyway because why not? Who cares? If you're watching this in the future, I don't think you care. Because that's what the VOD is for. It's for when it's convenient for others. You all still have to put up with my rambling no matter what, so I win out. And views are nice, so we all win! Life is beautiful. Life is wonderful. We all win. Oh, this is going to be so sweet to color. Why don't I color the lines? This is something I feel I should address while I do this. I am not comfortable coloring lines. If I did color the lines... Don't color over Mew Mew. Coloring the lines is a little intimidating to me. It is something people can do. It is something, if you can make it look good, I 100% support doing, actually. Because it looks really stunning when done right. I have done it many a time, and each time it looks like absolute garbage. Partly because my inking style is more heavy. Partly because I haven't got the sense the gods gave a gerbil. And in case anyone wonders why I just said plural, I will leave it for you to guess. You will all be allowed to guess and estimate and draw your own conclusions. I won't tell you unless it becomes important. And it's not important. Because you know what? We're all friends here. We're all friends here. Someday, what I ought to do is a Bob Ross style painting. Clip Studio Paint has an oil paint feature. It would be very interesting to attempt Bob Ross in Clip Studio Paint. With the happy little trees and the happy little accidents. And a cabin in the woods by the lake. He was inspired by Alaska. I am inspired by fantasy in Arizona. Sadly, I grew up in Arizona. I want to tell you all something about Arizona. It's brown. Everywhere you look, brown. The sky is brown. The cacti are green-brown. The ground is beige-brown. The people, their cars, all get covered in dust. Everything is brown in varying shades and hues and crosses. And it's, well, it could be worse. There are areas where you get Tijuana teal. Tijuana teal. Oh boy. There's a story. I've actually seen buildings that were a lot worse than Tijuana teal, though. And one was a realtor. It was that yellow-green. That special shade of yellow-green that you just look at and you know what placed that there. It is small, it screams, and it was ugly. And I kept going there because I was a realtor, and I was the one driving for a job hunt. I mean, for a house hunt. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about that building. Ew, ugly. Ew, nasty. Ew, ew, ew. I mean, the architecture sucked. The colors sucked. Would I go there for help finding homes? Yeah, I'd still go there. I mean, I liked what they had available. We just ended up in a different house. The house we almost ended up in was gigantic. And I mean huge. I mean, I would have had shelves built in. It was a cave. The problem is the house was damaged. That is why I didn't like it. I am a persnickety bass. I am a persnickety bass. Yes. Bass. Not a bass. The fish. I am a persnickety bass. We'll say that. That we'll use bass. That works. I can use fish. Fish are fun. But they're also food. I am not a vegetarian shark. Fish are friends and food. Just gotta decide how much you like that fish. Like Nemo, ew. You don't want to eat clownfish. You don't know where that's been. Some fish you just don't want to eat, and then there are fish you just ew, yum 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 yum. Like salmon. Salmon is okay. I don't like it in huge doses, but I don't mind it when it's in something else or it's slathered in enough teriyaki sauce to drown half the country. I am persnickety. But yeah, I would not mind living in Tucson again. I know the area. I have a rough idea of how to find things. I know the good grocery stores. I know the cruddy grocery stores. I know where to find Lush. And Tucson's pretty much got most of what I like. So it's like, let's see. If I have to leave Denver, where do I go? I'm a little paranoid of the Cascadia fault line at this point. And that's because where we would live, we would basically, the moment Cascadia went off, we would only have minutes to live left. I am not ready for that. I am not ready for that terror. Or if Mount Rainier decided it was going to lose its temper with the world, which it should. I mean, volcanoes right now are very well within their right to go explode. I mean, it's not 2020 though, so they have no reason, but that doesn't mean they don't have the right. I know, I sound weird. I don't care. But I do want to live near water though, and it's like I mean, California, San Diego, that's all on the San Andreas. Problem with California is it's expensive. That is something you must always remember if you're thinking of moving to California. It's expensive. If you think you got it bad, California is really, I mean, I'm not even getting into the way they've been handling the pandemic badly, but I mean, cost of living, expensive. I wouldn't mind Southern California because that's what I'm familiar with. Northern California is just pine trees and what the heck. But I'm still kind of afraid of Cascadia. And California, again, is one of those It's expensive. Arizona is a little bit less expensive, but Arizona's also about 20 years behind everyone. When The Simpsons called Phoenix a cultureless Martian hellscape, and I'm not even going to censor that, that's what they said, they weren't wrong. I mean, there's all kinds of neat stuff in Phoenix, don't get me wrong, but Phoenix is a very hot city in the summer, and a lot of what people run into is heat from asphalt. Chandler, still close enough to Phoenix, heat from asphalt. Phoenix has a lot of streets, a lot of concrete, and a lot of materials that retain heat. So what might be a 115-degree day in Tucson is most likely going to be a 120 day in Phoenix. My big selling point for Tucson is kind of sad, kind of pathetic, but you know what? I don't care. There's a bookstore there. They sell used books. They sell used goods. They carry the things I like. I'm an old codger. I like my NES games. I like my cartridges. Back in my day, we had cassette tapes. We had cassette tapes and pencils, and you use those pencils to write with, and then turn around and rewind your tape because you wanted to listen to that one song one more time and drive everyone up 5 walls. But it took you 3 minutes to rewind it, so everyone had a chance to evacuate the area. These days, they don't have that. That's the real reason people are so cranky. We're not giving them the chance to evacuate before you replay California Girls by Katy Perry one more time. Oh, yes, the breakup of Daft Punk is a tragedy, though.
They had a good run, though.
They did have a good run. I'm gonna miss them. I remember when they premiered on Toonami late at night one night. It was with one of the Interstellar 555 videos, and I was just, ooh, is there a story behind this? I want to see more. What do you mean there's no more? I also got the Gorillas. They were okay. I like maybe 2 songs by the Gorillas. I know, for my generation, that's heathenry. How very dare betray. You know what? Don't care. But yeah, I remember when Daft Punk was premiered on Toonami to one of their songs, Interstellar 555. I believe it was One More Time. And it was good. I liked that Toonami had done that whole sequence of introducing new bands to people. It was a lot of fun, but they never did it again. It was probably not profitable. Knowing Turner, probably not profitable. Oh, it's almost.
It's COVID, basically.
You don't think you think you're gonna have enough time for a,
I'll be fine.
Okay. I fuss over my spouse. And I know I haven't talked about design in a while. Why am I making his clothing plain? Well, some outfits are not plain. This outfit is leaning on the plain side because not everybody wears fancy, and a lot of my characters don't normally wear fancy unless it's a magical girl setting, in which case the magical form is the fancy form. Kess wears fancy in that she's got more patterning on her clothes. Raven should be in this stream, but she's not. I just felt like apparently Sky, tweaking Sky a bit. But I don't know. I forgot where I was going. I'm just thinking as I go. Why I do simple clothing, that's right. Partly because those tiny details can be extremely difficult to replicate. I am not against people who can do completely complex outfits. You people are heroes. Okay? Heroes. It's just hard for me to do. And we're up to the hair. I know, we're up to the hair. And I'm actually in the correct hair shading family. Because I do have kind of a bluish silver. For Sky, and his brother is more... Yeah, his brother is a little more whatever he's dyed in his hair that day. Sometime I should do a reference of Sky's hair, because I don't have a good reference for it in terms of the back, but today is not that day. Tomorrow doesn't look good either. That is the wrong silver. I think. No, wait, do I have... Or I select the wrong tool and just make a complete idiot of myself. Yeah, no, situation normal. Yeah, situation normal. I could go a little bit brighter. So if you've come home, it's a weekday, and you're just like, why is this bozo streaming so late? I'm on mountain time. Literally, I'm on top of a mountain. And I don't gun for the East Coast. I gun for the, oh, for pity's sake, care. I gun for more of the Midwest, is my timing. I don't have the best timing. I am trying to pre-announce streams for folks. That way they know if they're coming. I'm not perfect. Some streams may still be impromptu. Like this one I planned to do since Sunday. The reason I didn't... No. Saturday. The reason I didn't do it sooner is yesterday was my birthday, so I didn't want to do any streaming. Day before, I just didn't feel the energy. Unfortunately, because this is not a highly popular YouTube channel, nor do I ever expect it to be. Energy is important to me, and I don't want to come up to you guys and go, seriously, I have no drawing ideas, guys. I'd like to come in knowing what I'm doing. Even if it's just... I smell cat food.
Because the cat is eating his food.
Like, I just want to make sure I get through my day, get through this art, and make something fun, and have fun with you guys. Like I've always been saying, I like to spend time with my peeps. My peeps just so happen to be people who watch the VOD later and are wondering why I sound like a lunatic. I am a lunatic. Sort of. The inmates are running the asylum here, people. That's my brain. That is the best description of my brain. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
Well, my spouse has no idea if it's wrong that I describe my brain as the lunatics have taken over the asylum. Better than the inmates taking over the prison. That would be a disaster. Hairlines are not my friend. 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 I should really start drawing them. Yes, I am actually critiquing myself as I go. Hairlines are not my friends. Hairlines are not my friends. Oh, for pity's sake. Hair is not my friend. Hair is not my friend. Hair is not my friend. There it is. That's my friend. Do forgive some of my memeage. I am of the age when we had things like albino black sheep and Newgrounds and Flash and the real innovations of things like lolcats, badger badger badger, things like that. That's what I started the internet on. That actually relates back to my college days too. I'd start watching albino black sheep between classes and just what is getting anything done? I was a terrible student. I won't lie to you guys. I'm a terrible student. Most people would sit there looking at their books trying to memorize who painted what when. I'd be staring at my computer wondering who animated what why. And why did they only release this one thing? I was around for Lemon Demon and that kind of thing as well as Potter Puppet Pals. So if my memes ever seem a little out of date, it's because those are the memes I loved in my 20s. Now I'm in my 30s and I'm no longer meme-tastic. I'm just sort of an idiot who wasted college staring at memes on T1 lines. But by goodness, those were great T1 lines. And I still got my homework done, mostly. Maybe the day before, day of, depending on how long the paper was. As for papers, the one I remember most is actually from community college when I did a paper that covered the Celts. I don't remember what my paper was about. I think it was just about the Celts. But that one really stuck out to me. That was in community college. In community college, a lot of my classes basically just asked you to write about artists or art or whatever you were studying because that's what they do at the university every semester. You gotta do a new paper. Nope, not really. Not in every class. And I do take it back. In the summer class, actually, I remember two other papers. In German 102 102, we were supposed to write an essay in German. Not a long one, mind. We were held to the limits of maybe 2 or 3 pages. We weren't expected to write tons and tons and tons like we might write a 7-page paper for, say, art history or art class. Or something like that. No, this was like a 2 to 3 page at max. And even then, you could do we always had to do double-spaced papers, certain word counts, that kind of thing. The teachers were kind of padding it for us. But I wrote a paper about, in one of my classes, oh goodness, what class was this? I forgot. But one class, German, that's what I was on about. I wrote a paper about Bremen in German. Do I still have my German? A little bit. I would have to take several minutes to understand what I'm reading between the context. I don't remember a lot of it because I didn't do so hot in German. I didn't do so hot in Spanish. I think half the time I passed because the teachers liked me. Actually, this is a good shade for iron as well, so I'm going to double this up. But I did a German paper on Bremen, and I do take back what I said about papers. I did write another paper in community college that I remember real well, and that was actually, I know, people are going, oh, why doesn't this guy shut up? Because I'm trying to entertain you and educate you. Mostly entertain you. In my Horror of Horrors class, known as English 2. I think it was English 2. We had to do papers a lot because we were supposed to prove that we were proficient in the English language, even though most of us were English as first language. Literally, English is our native language, and I don't know why America insists on teaching English to students. I guess because we need to master the use of grammar so we don't go around talking like an idiot. Going, I talks good. I don't talks good. I talks like garbage. Public speaking, I'm worse at. Yes, that's right. I admit it. I'm not good at public speaking. I'm working on it. But we wrote multiple papers. So the one that sticks out is I actually did a paper on Commodore business machines because I'm a big retro nerd and a friend of mine introduced me to the company. Dash reminded me of middle school where I got to play with a Commodore. And I'm sitting there writing this paper, reading all this research, getting grumpy. And we're doing this, and I will tell you, the funniest part about that paper is I wrote it on a Mac. So somewhere out there, I wrote a paper on a Mac about Commodore, which is brilliant. Thinking back, it was just brilliant. But most of the time at that point, The Sims was still running through the first game with all the expansions, and all I could think about was, I want to go home and play with my Sims. I don't want to deal with this. This is boring. This is boring. I was such a good student. I was not a good student. Don't be like me at all. Please be better. If you're in school, please be a better student than I was. Don't be me. Don't be No. Don't be the Nova. The Nova is not a good college student. Not a good role model. Not going to be teaching anything useful except for art skills that he did manage to pick up in art school at all. Or from messing around with his computer. Or both. Either way, oh goodness, be a better student than I was, please. I don't want to get an email from a teacher going, "You told my student to be lazy." Please don't. Please be better. I know you guys can be better. So please be better. But yeah, I was one of those students in college who teachers liked me or hated me. Funny story, in my one of my art history classes is it was a class taught by a Greek teacher. You could tell she loved when we had the Greek sections because she would go on a tangent. It was kind of fun because she could go into so much more detail that we didn't normally get, which I found later is a common issue with my college, but not gonna go there. So she found out after we started talking about ceramics in class that I did some ceramics classes. Suddenly I was the favorite student in a class of about 50 to 100. Because yes, lecture classes are real. There are classes that are actually that huge. Don't let them scare you though. The teachers are usually still able to be approached, but the class is usually pretty big. So you do want to keep in mind that, and what I'm doing by the way is shading, but what you want to keep in mind is talk to the teacher if you're having problems. They usually have teacher's aides. They can usually help you out. Don't panic, don't worry. Nova's just a bad example. You can do better. Be the better student. I believe in you all. And I expect to see A's on those report cards. If I find out somebody got an F because of me, I am not going to be happy. Just so you know, if you're listening to this when you should be doing your homework, do your homework. This is me telling you. If you're not in college, maybe pick up a skill. I'm not saying you have to go to college for a new skill, but maybe pick up a new skill. Try something you've never done before. maybe do a completely new style of painting. You never know. I mean, Jackson Pollock created art by hurtling paint against the wall. Well, against the floor. He planned where the drips were going, but the man also kinda. I like Jackson Pollock's work, but he was kinda special. If you're in art class, you will find many of the artists that people talk about with praise. Van Gogh, you're looking at Jackson Pollock, Andy Warhol. They were all special children. I mean, Monet was into absinthe to excess. Was it Monet? I think it was Monet. Regardless, there was painters who were into absinthe. There's just, oh my goodness. Art history is a very creative place to look, but don't do it in a class if you don't have to. Art history is, outside of art class is, Also, behold why it's important to do tiny detail shading. That's right, guys. Oh, crud, I forgot the sleeve part. I am not smart today. I am not smart. But never be afraid to try something new. Never be afraid to find a new art tutorial and experiment. Never get too comfortable. If you're too comfortable, you're going to get lazy. If you get lazy, you're going to start making mistakes. You start making mistakes, you're going to start looking like me. As you can see, I am making mistakes. Yes, I'm trying some new stuff. I always do. But I'm making mistakes. Why? Because I'm a freaking idiot who got too comfortable. That's gonna happen. Don't let it happen. Just don't. Don't be me. I'm a good example of what not to do today. But back to discussing streaming itself on this channel and the future of it. I still intend to stream for a while, at least for now. When I do, I still need to figure out fun things for us to do as a group. Weekdays probably not the best day for things like requests and whatnot, stream games, etc. But we're still gonna have days where it is gonna be time for happy, fun streaming time. Also, as far as if anyone is wondering, I do actually plan to add a little more silver back to the shadow area. I'm just working at the other side. A little tidbit is I do often consider hair texture, which I know sounds strange. I know people are like, texture? But how do you do texture? How do you do texture in anime hair? Easy. Shading. How does it shade? How is it colored? If it's colored or shaded a certain way, there's gonna be a reason. You don't just do your hair. You don't do straight hair lines and then do frizzy shading, for example. You also don't want to do hair textures that might not match what the character is. Sky is actually Japanese mix. He doesn't look it because his dad is kind of a mix himself. The spouse is out of the chat. Let's all party. No moderator! Quick! Quick! Somebody get the DJs! But Sky himself is maybe quarter. His father was half. His mother was German. So Sky's grandmother is German. His grandfather is Japanese. Then there's dominant hair. Since I usually play him in Animu settings, I go with silver. I am well aware everyone's raising the brows going, ooh, Sephiroth aesthetic. Yeah? Eat me. I don't do this way Square Enix does where it looks just like dead limp hair. Oh my goodness. Sephiroth hair. Someone introduce that boy to hair care. I'm telling you, introduce that boy to hair care. He needs it. He and Cloud both need hair care product. And this is coming from the guy who doesn't do much hair care product. Trust me, when that's happening, you need hair care product, honey. Anyway. Sky, Ray, and Satanta's father is one half Asian, one half German. His wife leans more towards the British Isles. So she's got some British. She's basically a good she's a good mix of different areas of Britain. And a little bit of Welsh. And a little bit of Irish. Jolene really is kind of a mix. But the best description is just to say she's from the UK. And she's actually got a different hair texture than her husband and a different hair color. But the kids are all silver maned. Shiny. And when I say silver, I do mean silver. I don't mean gray. I don't mean platinum. They all silver kids. Their dad's hair color is kind of dominant. The reason it's silver is, well, you know what? Genetic mutation and the great grandfather. I am slowly working on this family. But again, never be afraid to work with stuff that makes you happy. Tweak it, modify it, make it unrecognizable, make a mangled dog, and have fun with it. Don't make the dog suffer. Play with it. Have fun with your ideas. They sometimes lead to some pretty original characters. You'd be surprised how often I've sat there talking to my spouse, and the next thing we know, where did this character come from? AU. Did you do AU again? Yes. So, Sky, Satanta, and Ray's father is actually pretty chill. He has PTSD. He's a former soldier who served in the Gulf War. And his wife did not know if he'd make it home. Satanta was actually named Satanta because his mother is familiar with Irish legend, and she wanted her son, in case he did not know his father, to grow up with a strong source. A strong, good source who may have been let's face it, Satanta was not the best person in myth at first, but she wanted her son to be strong and to be able to make it. When his father came home, his father got to name their next child, which they thought was a girl at first. Then Sky ended up, after Ray was born several years later, Sky ended up coming out as transgender because I don't typically identify female myself. So if anybody's going, why do you have that with a character? Why don't you just, because that's something I'm dealing with. Work with me here. And Sky's father looked at his favorite kid and went, your name is now Sky, you are my son, and I love you, and we're going to buy you some real clothes. Which really helped Sky out a good deal. So Sky is actually his father's favorite, Ray is their mother's favorite. Satanta's kind of like the secondary man of the house, and he's okay with it. He would much rather see his family happy than feel left out. Besides, Satanta has all the girls at the goth club and all the gay guys at the goth club to look out for. He is such a nerd. His brother Sky, when he goes with him, he's also pretty good at the goth club. He's more willing to swing his fist. Satanta doesn't need to. Satanta is big. Satanta is muscular. Satanta is a tank. Sky is a glass cannon. Sky really shouldn't pick fights, but because he's tiny, because he's smaller than Satanta, and he has issues about his body, we'll say, he feels the need to prove he's a male by planting his fist in anybody that upsets him. Picking on someone who doesn't deserve it, that's a punchin'. Starting to mess with the ladies, that's a punchin'. His brother has had to pull him out of trouble, and it's kind of hilarious because Sky is just a little spitfire. I love him. That's why some of his outfits actually let him move, too. He is a spitfire, he likes to move, he's going to go for people. Is he the most muscular member of the family? No. 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 Is he the practical fighter of the family? Yes. Yes, he is. There is a return of a crow! Quick, put the fireworks away.
Oh my god, babe.
Hide the booze!
Looks like it's still me.
But yeah, Satanta, he's comfortable with his body when he binds, but he still likes to overcompensate. So he gets a little punch buggy. He's not as calm as Satanta. Ray is just adorable. She likes to cook. She likes to eat her brother's cooking because they both won't admit it, but they like to cook, bake, make goodies. Their dad is actually a very supportive person. He loves his kids. He knows when he's having a PTSD episode or he's quote unquote stuck to stay away from the family. And even still, he's getting therapy for it because he knows he can't trust that. And when their dad's not around, Satanta tends to be the man of the house. Sky is the secondary, and he just sort of sits there looking at his brother 9 times out of 10 going, Killjoy, come on. Dad's in therapy. Let's go blow sparklers. No, why not? Mom lets me do it. No, I don't. That's basically Sky. Sky is trouble. Sky is adorable. Satanta himself, though, there are times when it shows that he tried to grow up faster than he should have. Because there are areas where he doesn't have a childlike spirit, unlike his sibling who's just there like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, new thing. Why are you so excited? New game. What? It's just a game. It's just a game, Sky. Why are you so... But I want it! Come on! You can't tell me you don't want it. And I believe I colored on the wrong layer, didn't I?
Highlight.
Oh no, I just lost where I put the skin tone. Okay. Yeah. I didn't color on the wrong layer. Woo! Celebrate! Good times! It's called avoiding the DMCA strikes. Because my spouse does not know why I intentionally broke my voice. Yes, that was intentional. No, it wasn't out to get you. No, not even you, Carl. Stop being such a Karen, Carl. And if there's a real Karen out there, get over yourself. I'm I don't have patience for Karens. In case anyone wants to know, if anyone tries to Karen at me, they discover I am the ultimate Karen. 1. 2. I have no issues destroying everything that they're trying to protest me on. 3. I also make sure I know what the laws are so I can look at them and go, I am become anti-Karen, destroyer of Karens. And there are times where that knowledge of how to break a Karen is needed because someone actually earned a Karen moment. I know people say you shouldn't be mean to people in food service. I agree. You never know. But there are times when you do nothing wrong to them and somebody will take their bad day out on you. That is not okay. It is a two-way street. If you want respect, you gotta give it. If you don't give respect, you're not gonna get it. Especially not from me. I have no problem sitting there if you mess up and leaving 2 cents. Because that's what you've earned. And it's, again, I know these people are trying to earn their income, and tips are very important. But so is taking care of the customer. 1, your boss should really be paying you a living wage. I don't think that the current wages for people who earn tips are fair. Because they don't let you take your tips into consideration, or they'll say you also have to divide your tips with the rest of the staff. That's not helping somebody make a living wage. That's just keeping them poor so you can line your pockets off to suffering. Anyway, I'm just catching myself going off into a political tangent. Anyway, all I'm saying is don't be jerks. Don't be a jerk. Don't be that guy. You don't want to be that guy. Especially not around me, actually. I don't have tolerance for that guy. That guy muscles in on my territory. Makes me look like a jerk. No. Don't be that guy. If you still don't know what I mean by don't be that guy, lesson 1. Please look it up. Lesson 2. Don't do it now that you know what that guy is. Step 3. Celebrating the fact people like you. Do forgive the crank today. I don't know. I've had to deal with a lot the past couple days, and I'm tired of dealing with all of the stuff and things. Anyway, as far as this hair tie goes, I am going to do it a solid color so I don't have to shade it. Partly because, there we go. I'd also like to get chicken parm tonight, so I'd like to finish this so my spouse can actually cook. But there's no real reason. When it comes to hair ties, I do try to go for neutral colors like black, because you can wear black with a lot more than you can wear, say, teal, pink, blue, red. Well, red actually goes with a lot of colors. Green, cyan, taupe. Thought you got away from taupe, didn't you? No, you did not. I will still say taupe. I do think Sky might be one of those characters that if I drew his tongue sticking out, there'd have to be a piercing there. Why would I give a character a tongue piercing? Those things are horrible and painful and nasty. Yes, they are, but character design. I'm gonna get into a little depth here. I'm actually gonna be a little turn down the dork mode, turn down the snark, and come up and say something serious that I feel more people need to hear. Role playing is supposed to be a safe environment for everybody involved. And if they feel like it's safe to explore things and it's safe for you, you're comfortable with it, then why not? You're hurting nobody. You're not making anyone lose anything financially. You're not losing anything psychologically. In fact, you may learn something new about yourself. It really does depend on what you expose yourself to. Exposing yourself to things is good for you. Exposing yourself in a safe context is especially good because a non-judgmental environment is a lot better than, say, some guy who says, "My name is Dave, this is my kingdom, and all must do as I say, for all is written as Dave, and Dave has been here since creation." Unintentional, wax poetic. Aw, yeah. I am almost done. I did have eye palettes in case I needed it. I don't think I'll need it. But I am almost done. So that is something for people to be happy about. Soon their suffering and ear pain will end, for this loud screechy voice shall be off of the air. Because my spouse is the soft talker. I'm just a talker. Talk, 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 talk. Anyway, as I once again violate something, I just know it. I'm going to get somebody looking at me going, but. I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, take it down. One day, anyway. We're still in the era of videos where people are going to look and go, oh my gosh, they streamed like that? Yeah, I stream like this right now. One day I might get better. Or I may just end up staying like this because this is kind of comfortable. I know I say don't get comfortable, but I'm new to streaming and right now this is what works for me. I'm going slow, I'm working out what does and doesn't look nice, what is and isn't my vibe. So if you're not vibing it, don't worry, I'm still in the exploratory phase of theming and all that. I actually have an idea of what I want to do for the full theming of the channel at some point. But relax, one day all will get improved. One day I may even record videos in advance. Holy cow. Let's see how that goes. But for now, I stream. I interact with people. I have good times with y'all. I may even end up streaming more on weekends. Who knows? I don't know right now. Anyway. What you doing? The spouse is busy. Probably being adorable, but hi, hon. The spouse has moved. They are within range of being captured.
I'm paying attention to the shit via phone.
Well, I don't have a lot of suggestions for eyes. I rarely go outside the usual eye colors of blue, green, brown, and blue, green, brown, gray, and hazel. Which I'd like to do sometime. So here's something from me. I have yet to experiment. Sometimes I've played with purple eyes, not often. And that's because I am a little bit on the cautious side in terms of working with eye colors I'm not familiar with. I'm going slow. Am I letting myself get comfortable? Not entirely. I would say if you are trying to work yourself out of a comfort zone or you're trying something new and you are nervous, as much as I say don't get comfortable, don't scare yourself either. If you're only able to do a little bit at a time, it's still more than you were doing before, which is diddly. Yes, I said it. Diddly. Diddly boo squat. So I won't lie in that area. Yeah, don't get comfortable. Don't scare yourself either. I've done that before and I did not like it. But it is something to keep in mind that it's going to be scary. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be unpleasant. Do it. Don't let your dreams be memes. Do the thing. If you want to learn a new skill, do the thing. You want to try something new, do the thing. Take your time to build up to it as you need. I know I did, and I just shaded that eye wrong. I don't want to shade it crappy. There we go. I don't want to do it bad. Do the thing, but take your time doing it so you don't go, like, getting eyes to look decent without drawing a black pupil in them. This isn't to say my characters don't have pupil, it's just I don't draw a pupil much. Is like saying there's only one way to draw ponies, or one way to draw... There's not. Just like design. If you've got an idea for an outfit, and you can visualize a character that would look good in it or might wear it, go for it. If you don't have a character but you want to put one of your characters in it, experiment. Try things out. Maybe see if they look good in that outfit. Then see if they'd enjoy it. Honestly, some characters you might find would enjoy that kind of outfit when you look at their behaviors, personalities, and contexts. That's the best advice I can give somebody in design. I know a lot of my talk today has been kind of sideways like usual, but, you know, I'm not exactly the best at talking anyway. But also, legitimately, feel out the character as you go. If it's a new character, then you want to consider their personality, what their likes, their dislikes are. I don't even say so much as favorite food, so much as interests. What interests them? Sky is kind of a morbid asshole. He's a little bit on the darker side, like his brother. But he also likes to bake. He also gets into fights. That kind of thing. It helps to have an idea as you go, and it's good to get ideas from the personality as you go. It's not going to hurt if you say, oh, I tried this, it doesn't fit. That's okay. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Characters grow and evolve through storytelling, roleplay, and through character development itself. You could start with a character that you're saying, oh, this character is a happy being who lives in a fairy tale castle, and then you decide the castle is defended by black roses. Awesome. But why are the roses there? And in the end, you realize this character is really kind of depressing. I kind of messed up on clipping that. I am sorry, world. But I am being snickered at.
Yes, you are.
My spouse taunts me.
I'm good at that. I am a pro after all.
You are. You don't be nice to me, Nebby and Lynn are gonna steal me.
They can fight me.
attitude.
Yep.
That's the attitude. Fight me. Oh my goodness. Navi, Luna, if and when you get to watch the VOD, I am sorry, my spouse has literally just challenged your theft attempts. My spouse challenges. There is a pup. Did that work?
Yeah, you got them all in there.
Yeah, it's not as small as I'd like.
Mm-hmm.
You think I should just save it as is?
Yeah.
I think I'll save it as is. I don't feel like fighting with it anymore. I also have sniffing around my hand.
It's a pup.
I know it's a pup. Pup wants loves. Our dog loves very much. I'm going to have Nebby and Luna screaming save at me for half of this VOD because I've just now started the saving process and I'm always reminding them to save. I'm a bad person. I'm sorry.
You never listen to me about saving.
Yeah, but my spouse is making fun of me again. Anyway, that's generally a lot of, besides the rambling, there's a lot of how I do character design. I do appreciate everyone who attended today and who will watch in the future. I'm still trying to get my streaming schedule solidified. I'm still working with my spouse on that. I do want to warn, April 22nd, I won't be streaming. So I'll give you that month's out advance warning. Anyhow, I hope you had a great time. Hopefully I was at least mildly entertaining, comforting, or something.